So today is 22nd of April 2025, and we're having our pre-New York session analysis. It's 12:35 p.m. right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Good afternoon, Ajibola Olakunle. Now, if you can hear me loud and clear, please type a yes in the comment section so that I can be sure we are all on the same page. If you can hear me loud and clear, type a yes in the comment section. Good afternoon, Farouk. Okay, I want to believe you can hear me. So let's ride on. So today, there is just, we have just two news events. All right, so I can get the feedback now. Thank you, Philip, Adekoye, Shegun, and every other person. All right. So two news events this afternoon. One is tradable. The other one, I would suggest if you can stay out, the better. And that's the ECB President Lagarde is going to give a speech. Good afternoon, Madam Onaji. President Lagarde, ECB, that's the European Central Bank president, will give a speech at 3 p.m. Now, it's a medium impact event, then it will run simultaneously with the Richmond Manufacturing Index, which is equally a medium impact event. Now, the ECB president's speech, we may not be able to track that one, but the Richmond Manufacturing Index has data. We have a forecast and we're expecting the actual. But the truth is that the ECB president's speech will run simultaneously with the US news. So there's going to be reaction in the market based on that, especially for a currency pair like Euro USD, because we have two news events comprising of both the euro and the dollar. Please, if you have a video feed on, I will advise you put it off. It may drag our network. All right, so we're expecting Euro USD to react to this news event. So for the euro, if the news comes out good for the euro, sorry, I mean the dollar rather, the dollar. For those just joining us, please mute your device so that it doesn't lead to distraction here. For the dollar, the forecast is -6. If the actual comes out better than the forecast, at least that should be the effect we're looking out for. Let's confirm again. Richmond Manufacturing Index measures the level of composite index based on surveyed manufacturers in Richmond. An actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So if the actual data comes out greater than this, then we'll be looking at buying the dollar. And if it comes out less, it means we look at selling the dollar. But like I said, we're going to be comparing this with the euro to get a better view of what is to happen in the market. So I'm going to switch over now to the charts, to the MetaTrader charts. Now this is Euro USD on the monthly time frame, and price recently broke above a major resistance zone. Now, two things, if we take it a step further by drawing trend lines, we'll also see that there's a trend line up there and there's another one below, giving us the outlook of a falling wedge pattern on the Euro USD. Now, falling wedge patterns are reversal patterns that can point price in a bullish direction. So with price already breaking this level, though the month is yet to be over, anything can still happen. But at least for now, price has broken above that resistance level on a monthly time frame. Let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, it's completely broken. Two things will happen here. If the data comes out good for the euro and bad for the dollar, that will see the Euro USD climb higher. But on the other hand, if the news comes bad, the speech comes out bad for the euro and good for the dollar, we may see price retrace to these previous supports, resistance rather, which can turn to support. Those are the two scenarios. And if it decides to reverse to a resistance turn support zone, with time, we'll still expect price to still go back in the bullish direction. So two possibilities. Currently, price is in between buying and selling on the Euro USD. So if you have a running trade on Euro USD, I would advise you to be very, very cautious and possibly have a stop loss in place because we really don't know the direction the news is going to go until the data is released. Again, if it's good for the euro and bad for the dollar, price will go higher than the current level. And if the opposite is what happens, if it's bad for the euro, good for the dollar, then you see a decline to this previous resistance term support zone. If you are not on a trade on Euro USD, please stay out until after the news is released. So that's all I can say ahead of the news. We really don't have much direction because there's not much data for that. But then I'll be looking on the technical side now. I'll be putting some attention on the GBP USD. GBP USD. Why am I putting my attention on GBP USD? If you check the GBP USD on the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price already hit a resistance level on the weekly time frame. This is the weekly. Price already hit a resistance zone, and even on the daily, it's still confirmed that price is on the resistance level on the daily time frame, weekly time frame. So we can flip down to 1 hour to look for a reversal trade. And we can do that by drawing trend lines both in front and at the back. And this is giving us what we call a rising wedge pattern. Now, price has broken out slightly below the pattern, getting ready for a bearish movement. RSI is slightly below 50 at 49. For this setup, I would prefer the MACD to also be below 0. So this is what my view would be on Euro USD. There's still equally a minor support level here. All right, so if a new candle opens below this blue line, which is the support, with RSI clearly below 50, maybe around 45 thereabouts, and possibly MACD turning to 0, then at that point, we can trigger a sell on the GBP USD. Otherwise, if it doesn't work straight like that, the other possibility could be that price will try to form a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, which will retest the trend line, then a drop. But either it forms a head and shoulder or not, what we're anticipating is a breakout below this support level, a trigger a sell on GBP USD, with our RSI clearly below 50 and MACD possibly below 0. So I'm bearish on the GBP USD. On the 1 hour, so this is an intraday setup. It will happen today. If price breaks out below, it will happen today. And if it still wants to take all the pains to form second shoulder, that may happen maybe much later today or maybe tomorrow. But either ways, bearish on the GBP USD. The second setup I'm checking today is the Euro GBP, and I've been watching this one since last week. It was part of my analysis for last week. It's a swing setup, so it's taking some time to evolve, but then I'm still watching it closely. So how did I come about this setup? On the weekly time frame for Euro GBP, price hit a resistance level or a resistance zone. And it still cuts across this region here. So we have a resistance on the weekly time frame. And also we have a descending trend line here where price is making a series of lower high, lower high, lower high, and another lower high here, which lines up with that resistance zone, forming what we call a confluence. Because at these 2 points here, 2 things will make the price go down: the overall trend, which is bearish, and the resistance. So this is the point where all of them combine together into a confluence zone. So technically, we're bearish on the Euro GBP. And dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I was seeing the formation of a shoulder, a head. This is supposed to be a second shoulder and a drop, but market has been ranging lately, so we are seeing the pattern getting extended. But then if price is able to break out below the trend line that we have here currently, then we'll still see a downtrend on the Euro GBP. So I'm bearish on the Euro GBP. Now, this is on 4-hour time frame. It's a swing. It may take the better part of the week if the price breaks out. Or the only thing we're waiting for is a breakout below that trend line with RSI clearly below 50. Currently, RSI is at 51. But if it breaks out below 50, when a new candle opens below the trend line, it will be a time to trigger a sell on Euro GBP. And I also have a bearish outlook on the New Zealand JPY. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, I think I should open a fresh one. All right, so this is New Zealand JPY. On the daily time frame, you can see that price touched and made a lower high, lower high, lower high, and this candle touched the lower high there also. Technically, the overall trend there is bearish, so we're looking for an opportunity to sell. And secondly, we also have a previous support turned resistance here. So we have a support, price broke the support, testing it as a resistance. So technically, we are looking for opportunity to sell. These are two valid reasons why we're looking for opportunity to sell the New Zealand JPY. And when we flip down to 4-hour time frame, you can clearly see the formation of a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and price is currently trading around the neckline region. Right. So if a new candle opens below this neckline, then we're going to see a massive bearish breakout on the New Zealand JPY. Further confirmation should be your RSI below 50, and that has already happened. RSI is already at 44. MACD is about to cross. So if a new candle opens below that neckline zone, which is that support zone there, then it will be a time to trigger a sell on the New Zealand JPY. So I'm bearish on New Zealand JPY. It's a 4-hour setup, so it's a swing setup. And on the average, this could generate as much. Okay, you can see the confluence again. That support zone is on the same level as Fibonacci 23.6. So it's better. It's very advisable to wait for a new candle to break out below that Fibonacci 23.6. We target each of the Fibonacci levels as take profit level. If you look at the first two levels, we could see price drop to the tune of about, let's say 58, 60 pips for the first take profit. That's to Fibonacci 38.2 and up to 58 to 60 pips. And the next one should be Fibonacci 50, should be as much as about 100 and 124, let's say 120 pips. So between 58 and 120 pips on the minimum on the New Zealand JPY. If there's a lot of volatility, it could proceed to 180 pips and 260 pips. But let's just take the first two levels. That's 58 and 120 pips expected on New Zealand JPY. All right, that'll be all this afternoon. I've analyzed three setups for us: the GBP USD, where I'm bearish on 1 hour, Euro GBP 4 hour, and the New Zealand JPY 4 hour. Let's watch in the course of today and for the swing trade in the course of the week as these trades mature and evolve. If you have a question, just go ahead and drop it as we round up.
Good, sir.
Hello? Hello, who's speaking?
Sir, please, can you analyze gold for us?
Okay, please, please, can you just type? You're making, there's a lot of noise from your end. Please, if there's noise on your end, please don't unmute. Just type. I will definitely see it. Farouk Olamide post signal. You can join our signal group now. No signals are dropped. This analysis session. There is no signal at the moment. At least at the moment of this analysis, the market is still evolving. And all it takes to join our signal group is to have a funded account. So once your account is funded, you can reach out to your account manager who will see to you being added to the signal group. Now, gold is at a point where we need to trade with a lot of caution. Yeah, it looks to be climbing higher, but without much valid technicals. So caution is advisable. Yeah, it's been trending up based more on fundamentals, but then we'll do more of pure technical at this point. Now, I cited price hitting a psychological level at that's $3,500 per ounce of gold. So that psychological level may act as a resistance level, and that has led to some retracement we're seeing here. Now, if it closes today, you can see there's already a tweezer top formed on 4 hour, which is a kind of a reversal pattern being formed. And this is 1 hour. I perceive this is trying to form a head and shoulder pattern. Now, this is my view on gold. This could be a shoulder, a head. If price goes up a little higher to form a second shoulder, then this region becomes a neckline. Then we expect a sell. Otherwise, we might have to just stay out and see the next thing that is going to happen to gold. All right, so this is my view on gold. A shoulder, a head. If it makes a second shoulder and price breaks below the neckline, at least price come to touch the trend line there, from where two things will happen. If it's time for reversal, price may break down further off it, or if it's for further bullish continuation, it may continue up. So what I would advise you do now is to patiently wait and see what's going to happen at this point, whether to go up and form a second shoulder and break out below this pattern. So that's all I can say for now. That's what will determine how gold moves next. Fibonacci is not easy to understand. Just attend any of our physical sessions. We'll give you the understanding of Fibonacci. Maureen is asking me to check USDJPY. And okay, Maureen, USDJPY, JPY. Okay, I'll check on both of them. And we should be done with this session. For USDJPY, price actually hit a support level on the weekly time frame. You can see here, price at the support level on the weekly time frame, still valid on the daily 4 hour, 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we are also expecting a reversal. Now, this is what you should note. This could also help gold. If the USDJPY will reverse, this is also forming an inverse head and shoulder, just like what we're seeing on gold. If the USDJPY will reverse into bullish breakout, then gold, that might lead gold to sell. So I'm bullish on the USDJPY, but you have to wait for price to break out above, above this trend line, and preferably above this resistance zone here. So if a new candle breaks out above that level, yes, you can trigger a buy on the USDJPY. and possibly a sell on gold. You're welcome, Maureen. And finally, GBP-JPY. Yeah, we had a previous support zone on GBP-JPY, which and price it to resistance. Currently, GBP-JPY is trading around a support zone also. But I will advise you to be careful with this one, because with this support zone is actually going to be a short-term setup. We can flip down to 15 minutes. But then there's no clarity. The chart is not stable. You know, in recent days, market has actually entered into a range. I'm not seeing much clarity beyond the support. So for me, I will just ignore GBP-JPY for now. I would advise you to focus on the GBP-USD, where price already hit a resistance, and we're seeing the possibility of a reversal, you know, on that. Euro-GBP also, and New Zealand JPY. Those three, we have a better clarity on them. To join the Signal group, what is the phone number? Okay, I will ask if you have an account with us at PU Prime. If you have an account with us at PU Prime, then you should have an account manager. The account manager is that person who has called you from PU Prime. So if you have an account, verified account, and your account is funded, then you can reach out to your account manager, and that account manager will add you to the Signal group. And peradventure, you can reach out to your account manager, you can reach out to me on the WhatsApp number with which I dropped the link to this analysis class. I will be able to guide you also. All right, we need to end the analysis here. Do trade safe and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.